Hello fellow readers, my name is Violette and welcome back to my channel Violette's Book Days. Today I would like to do the, the end of year book tag for this year, 2025. I saw so far only 2 videos from the tag. The first one was from Pat at Book Chat with Pat and the other one from Alan at Alan's Reads. Both are very worthwhile going to watch. So there are 6 questions that I'm following from Pat. I'm not sure if there were 7 somewhere else that I might have seen, but I'm doing 6 today. Now, I took a while thinking about this. So I have actually this time written notes in a book, so in my little notebook. We'll see how I go. So question 1, are there any books you've started this year that you still need to finish? There are quite a few, but there's definitely one that I want to finish this year because I'm already halfway through it, and it's been a while since I've dipped back into it. It's Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I am actually really enjoying it, and I think it's probably because of its length that I got sidetracked and tempted by other reads along the way, although I had actually planned to read it a little bit slower. Not as slow as this though, when I finish it. There are another 2 that I really want to read, but I know I just won't get around to, but hopefully in January. Middlemarch by George Eliot and Homer's Odyssey, which I started probably about 5 months ago, and somehow didn't get back to. Maybe I found it a little bit harder to get into because it was just so different from other things I'd read before. But I want to get back into it, definitely. And the translation I have is by Emily Wilson, although I do have the Penguin Classics version as well. So I might compare it a little bit and see which one I'll use to actually finish it. But probably Emily Wilson's one. So question 2, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? Not specifically as, well, end of the year, yes, but of course, since I'm in Australia, it's not really autumn weather, although actually today it kind of felt like it. We're in spring, but we're transitioning to spring. So here where I am on the eastern side, it's fluctuating quite drastically, much more so than usual. A couple of weeks ago we felt like it was climbing up into the warmer weather, going up to like 25, 28, and then suddenly it drops back down to 13 degrees and slowly climbs again. And we've been going on this little roller coaster ride for a few weeks now. So today was about, I think about 23 degrees, but we did have then short burst of rain and even some hail. So I don't know, it could be autumn. Even though it's spring, it kind of feels like autumn. But I think, anyway, back to the book. So I think Anna Karenina would definitely fill that sort of autumnal space, I think. It, of course, it does span throughout the seasons, but I still get that sort of wintry feel as it is set in Russia. Okay, so what else did I... Oh, that's right. At the moment, though, I'm reading... Where is it? I'm reading The Whale Rider by Witi Ihimera, a really famous New Zealand author and book. This was turned into a movie quite a few years ago. And I started watching it, but then I thought, no, I'm going to read the book first, and then I'll see where they took the movie. And because I know, of course, it can be quite different. They leave things out, they change things. So I want to finish this first, and it's really short. It's like less than 200 pages, I think it was. Yeah, just under 180 pages. So I should finish that fairly quickly. And let's see, what am I up to now? Question 3. Okay, question 3. Let me lift this up a bit. Is there an excuse me, is there a new release you're still waiting for? Yes, there is, but it's not out until July next year. So that's already halfway through next year. But it's called Theodora's Tea Shop, and it's written by Christiane Jones, an Australian author. It's her first book, and she is on YouTube, and I've been following her journey for about 8 months or more now, and really enjoyed, watching her progress, and eventually get an agent and a publishing deal, which was fantastic to see. And I've already pre-ordered her book and can't wait to actually read it next year. So I encourage you to go and check out her channel. Really worthwhile. She does beautiful actual videos, so really cinematic, and well, maybe not cinematic, but she puts a lot of effort into showing a variety, which of course as a writer is really hard to do because it's a very individual, lonely kind of occupation usually. But when Steve Donahue was talking about starting something called WriteTube, or at least encouraging others to think about it, I did actually think of her, and I know there are some others out there as well, so I'll leave a link to her channel if you're interested. And she also does vlogs and takes you out, and she lives in Adelaide, and you can see a little bit of that space there, which is really nice. So next question, I think I'll go to question 4. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So my first one is Hilary Mantel's A Memoir of My Former Self, A Life in Writing. So just before I got the Whale Rider book, I had started this, but seeing as the Whale Rider is really short compared to this one, it's not too bad. But I think I'll finish Whale Rider first, then I'll get back to this. So this is actually a book that was published after Hilary Mantel died, and it was it's put together sort of in a timeline of her writing life, all through her writing, all her not all her, but from a selection of her essays, her lectures, her written pieces for magazines or that sort of thing. But it's, of course, she writes amazingly well, and I absolutely love it. I'll probably I'm only a little ways in, but it's definitely one I'll be probably dipping in and out of over the next few years. The next book was recommended. I saw it on what's his name? Aaron. Sorry, my word blank. On Aaron from AaronReadABook, or AaronReadABook, his channel. It's called The Light Years. It's by Elisabeth Jane Howard, and it's the first in what's called Cazalet Chronicles. Sorry, and it's set in 1937 in Sussex in England, about an English family. So it goes over, I think it's a series of 5 books, and I've got a few in the series now sort of lined up and waiting for me, ready to go whenever I get around to them. Hopefully, well, next year. I do plan on reading all of them next year, because I've already dipped a little bit into this one. I like the writing and the sound of it already. So I might just read a little bit of the back of this one. Oh, I wish I'd done that for the Whale Rider, because it really is fantastic. But you can look that one up. Okay, so this one, The English Family at Home, so 1937. For 2 unforgettable summers, they gathered together, safe from the advancing storm clouds of war. In the heart of the Sussex countryside, these were still sunlit days of childish games, lavish family meals, and picnics on the beach. 3 generations of the Cazalet family, their relatives, their children, and their servants, and the fascinating triangle of their affairs. So there are 3, I might quote 2 of the reviews, or part of the reviews on the back. But it really does annoy me if they don't say the name of the reviewer. They just put, you know, Sunday Telegraph, Spectator, The Times, but never mind. So Sunday Telegraph described it as vivid and compulsively readable. And the Spectator said, a superb novel, strangely hypnotic, very funny, surpasses even the best of what Elizabeth Jane Howard has written. So I wonder what she wrote before that this is apparently so much better than what she's written before. Yeah, so I look forward to that. And my third one is by a New Zealand author called Kerry Hulme, and the book is called The Bone People. And it was also the winner of the 1985 Booker Prize. So I didn't know anything about this one, but I wanted to read some more authors from New Zealand. So this was one that was mentioned quite often, so I thought that the Whale Rider and this one would be the ones I would start with. So it says it's a love story, and it begins when a mute 6-year-old, full of blasting hurt and strange charm, wanders off the beach and into the home of a despairing artist. That first sentence, since I finished Silas Marner not long ago, totally reminds me of it. That's probably the only similarity. Kerwin has given up everything but drinking, thinking and fishing. But the arrival of the boy Simon, and later on of his Maori foster father Joe, drags all 3 into the gyre of possibilities. Cruel, funny, ardent and beautiful, The Bone People is a powerful and visionary New Zealand fable. So it sounds intriguing, probably not usually the kind of topic I would read, but I do want to learn more about New Zealand, and I think one of the best ways is to read the fiction of a place. I usually start with fiction and then move on to a little bit of non-fiction to get more of the history. And I'll just read one of the reviews here. Let me see, from the New York Times book review. Set on the harsh South Island beaches of New Zealand, bound in Maori myth and entwined with Christian symbols, Miss Hull's provocative novel summons power with words as a conjurer's spell. It sounds really good, and when it mentions the harsh South Island beaches, I did actually live for, it was 9 or 10 months or so down on the South Island in Dunedin, or a couple of places in Dunedin, and the beaches are gorgeous, but freezing, or at least while I was there, it was utterly freezing, but still beautiful. So that's that one. Okay, question 5. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favourite book of the year? Well, maybe, but it might still be too early to tell, since I still have plans on reading quite a few, even more than I've mentioned here. But yeah, really depends on what else goes on with work, how busy I get, how much reading time, as well as, of course, trying to make more videos. At the moment, for the last few weeks, I've only managed two BookTube videos a week, which I was really hoping for 3. And then I found the other side effect of making the BookTube videos is that my reading has gone up slightly, but my watching of BookTube has gone down. And actually, yesterday and today, I've tried to bring that up again because I've been missing watching a lot of BookTube. And yeah, to see what's happening, as well as just to engage in the comments and yeah, see some new book recommendations, see what crops up, which is one of the reasons I love watching BookTube in the first place. Yeah, so I don't know what's going to land in my hands before the year is out. So I don't want to jinx it and, and say, oh, this and this might possibly become a favourite of the year. I don't know yet. Maybe it'll be The Bone People. Maybe it'll be Anna Karenina, which I love anyway. I mean, maybe I should include classics in favourites of the year. We'll see. Next question. Number 6, so the last one. Have you already started making reading plans for next year? Well, definitely to finish the other books I haven't yet. So Middlemarch and The Odyssey, as well as more fiction from New Zealand. And after I wrote my notes, I noticed on the bookshelf this big fat book that I haven't even got halfway through, but I do really like, because I started, of course, watching the series, and then when the series stopped, it's like, I want to find out what happens next. So I got the next book along. So this is now the 4th book that I've read in the series, and that's the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. So this one is Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone. Absolute doorstopper of a book. And I'm not even halfway through. But it's just a really enjoyable story, and it does have the sort of historical aspect to it too. And I like historical fiction, but as it is more a cross-genre book, I wouldn't class it purely as historical fiction, not a chance. But that is an aspect that I really enjoy with it. What else? Let me just check my notes. Oh, yes. Now, these were recommended by Steve Donoghue from his channel, BookTube channel. It's a series of 3 books on World War II, but specifically focused in Germany, I believe. Now, that's it's an area that I'm interested in, but I have not actually done any non-fiction reading in before. And when he really highly recommended it, I was like, okay, this is where I'm starting. Now I've got my starting point. So a series of 3 books by Richard J. Evans. This one is The Coming of the Third Reich. It's the first one. And it's how the Nazis destroyed democracy and seized power in Germany. So it's obviously very relevant to today's circumstances in the US. It is relevant to other places in the world where we have fascists in power or trying to hold on to power. And yeah, and also with my own history being German Australian, my own sort of family ties with the historical horrors of the past there. I feel I need to know more. I need and want to find out more about what happened. And I think also because I left school in Germany in grade 3, so I didn't have that higher education in Germany where they really push that whole aspect of what happened leading up to World War II, what happened during World War II, the Holocaust, everything like that, visiting the concentration camps. So there's that whole issue of the Germans feeling guilty, that huge weight on their shoulders, which I think they are slowly starting to push through. But unfortunately, even in Germany, they've got the right-wing aspect again. They've got the neo-Nazis. It's not a good situation either. So I think this is a really good starting point. It is, I believe, very thoroughly researched. I totally trust Steve's judgment on this. And I've only started a little bit. I'm still just at the preface part. I haven't even started properly I'm usually a reader that does dip in and out of books, but I think now, since starting this BookTube channel, I'm tending more to read and finish one book at a time, mostly, unless it's like a short story. So that's that one. And I do love books about nature. So I've got a few lined up for next year, but my first one's definitely going to be, and I can't believe I haven't read it yet, is The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Vorleben, or actually probably it's pronounced Peter Vorleben. And ironically, I like that. Vorleben means literal translation would be well living, or living well, or living in a good way. That's the translation of the name. So The Hidden Life of Trees, what they feel, how they communicate, discoveries from a secret world. Probably some of you have read this before. Let me know if you have and what you thought of it. He's also got a whole range of other books which look really interesting too, about animals and the relationship between plants and animals, I believe. Or maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm confusing it with another book. Either way, there's some of the ones. And also I really, really want to get around to reading some Anthony Trollope books and Edith Wharton ones as well. Anyway, that's the end of my notes, and before I keep going on for too long, I can see my recording's already at 21 minutes. I think that will do. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and yeah, I'll keep you posted how my reading goes by the end of the year. See what I've managed to read and enjoy, and well, hopefully enjoy. I haven't really come across, not this year, but I'll talk about that another time, where I did not finish a book and I absolutely hated so many parts and things about it. I'll talk about that another time, I think. But it's very rare these days that I read a book that I don't like, that I really don't like, whether it's the story, the characters, or the writing. I try and make my choices really carefully. And now I've discovered BookTube, of course, this past year. I am finding those BookTubers whose judgments I trust and whose tastes align with my reading tastes. But then again, my reading tastes are pretty broad, so I guess that's not too difficult to find. Okay, I'll say bye. Bye for now. Hopefully, see you next time.